guys, welcome back to another episode of Time of the Month. My name's Cheryl, also known as She Talks, and in this episode I'm joined by the lovely Lisa and the amazing Marianne. So on this episode we have so many subjects that we're going to be discussing with you. Talking about sex, talking about nipples, and talking about perhaps TMI, too much information and oversharing on social media. Tell us what you think. Make sure you get onto Twitter as you're watching, hashtag TOTM. Follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and make sure you add us on Snapchat and Instagram. All right, so ladies, if you lost your mojo for any reason, if you were just like really tired, you were running ragged, the kids had you up all night, you just didn't feel like getting it on with your partner for a long period of time, would you give him the permission to get it on elsewhere?
Can we go to Marianne first?
Why?
I'm still thinking.
Why me? What is a long period of time?
Okay,
Number
say
one.
let's start at 3 months.
No.
We can build on this.
No.
All right, 6 months.
No.
2 years.
No.
So the answer's no. The answer's a no.
Why though? Sex is only one part of your relationship. That's something you can build. And if he's your husband, you said your partner, you mean your husband,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay, so he married you for better, for worse.
Okay, so if does it matter if you're married or not? What if it was a long-term relationship?
Like a common law wife type of
Yep.
situation. It's the same type of thing. I mean, marriage to me is just a piece of paper. So if
Okay.
you're committed to each other,
Yeah.
what he should be doing, well, for starters, I've never happened to me, but
She hastens to add.
I don't see no reason to lose your mojo anyway. But if he should be helping her, whatever the problem is,
Right.
he should be helping her with that. If she needs therapy, if she needs, massaging or whatever she needs to get her back to normal, he should be helping her.
But what if she just didn't want to focus on it? Because I feel like if I had lost my mojo and I really didn't want to focus on it, actually, I think I was just about to tell a lie because I think I was just about to say, oh, just let him get on with it elsewhere. But actually,
No.
I think you're right. Maybe
There's more to a relationship than just having sex.
But see, at this point, I'm worried, right? What I would be worried about
Why
is
has it
that...
happened, please?
No, it hasn't happened.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Oh my God. It's one of these two. It hasn't happened, but what my concern would be is that I'm not feeling up for it. And over time, he will just go out and get it elsewhere.
Yeah.
And then come back to me. That's a major problem.
That's
So-
a trust issue, though.
But
That's something
but
you
the,
should be
but
talking
the
about.
reality is that it's likely to happen. So if I'm going to do it, I'd rather give my permission, knowing that we've both spoken about it, than for me to have this as my problem, but it affects him because there's nothing wrong with him.
But how
He's
are
still
you
got his
gonna feel?
mojo.
How are you gonna feel when he's gone out and he's had some woman rubbing her hands all over him? He's been inside another woman, and he's gonna come and lie down next to you.
But this is
because you said it's okay. You're
No,
gonna feel alright about
but
it.
this
Do
is
you know
the
what? I
problem.
kind of think that's where my mind went, thinking, oh, it's going to happen, so I should preempt it and give him the permission. And I kind of see some of the sense in that. If he's going to do it, maybe just kind of like say you can do it. This whole conversation came up from, I think it's Syra Khan. Is that her name?
Yeah, Sarah Khan.
Okay, so she announced, I don't know why she even announced it, but she said it on the program that a discussion program that she comes on, that she'd lost her mojo and that she didn't mind if her husband went out. And her husband was actually in the media saying, but I would never do that.
But at least a discussion was had.
Yeah.
From that, the discussion was had. Them two together can talk to each other about it rather than she's got the problem, he's getting pent up and frustrated, goes out,
There's
starts
lots of things
cheating,
you
and
can
then comes
do
back.
if you're
but
pent
there
up and
are.
frustrated
But if the
without going and seeing
Can you
another
name
woman.
some of them for us, Marianne?
Masturbation, if you want the exact term for it. Okay.
Right. Noted.
no, but if it's a long-term problem,
But you don't know if it's going to be a long term.
But let's just say it's a long-term problem. Let's
Yeah.
just use that, right? Because you mentioned kids before. I mean, people use their mojos, and that hopefully won't be a long-term issue. But if it's a long-term issue, what would you do? Because this does happen.
And even though you say that sex isn't, the main part of a relationship, for some people it's a big deal.
It is a big
For
deal.
some, I don't know if I'm being generalizing here, but for some men it's a big deal. So if they're not getting sex in a relationship,
Is that all they're getting from the relationship? Is just sex?
No, I don't think it is. I mean, if you've married someone, it's not just the sex; it's your
Intimacy.
relationship. But
Valid
intimacy
question,
is important.
Yeah.
So if someone's not up for it, doesn't feel like it, the relationship's
You're
going to
saying
break down.
they're not up for anything. A kiss, a cuddle, they're not up for anything. Is that what you're saying? Just don't touch me.
Yeah, let's just say it's that.
Just don't touch me. Let's
just say
that's
because that's a psychological issue that your husband should be supporting you with as well.
Yeah. What if he's tried and it's not going to help the
situation? I'm with Marianne when she says actually there are a number of other things that you can do apart from, unless if we're talking about sex, we're talking about the full range.
Intercourse. Yes.
Yeah.
No. I mean, doing that with your hands.
I mean,
I don't understand, right?
This is the spectrum. This is the spectrum. And, so it starts from just like heavy petting up to whatever.
Do you know what?
So I'm saying if all of it is ruled out, that's a big problem. But as you say, there are other things that somebody can do apart from, say, penetrative sex.
But the guy is still going to want that. He's not going to be happy just masturbating. So what do you do?
And apart from masturbation, though, I'm saying.
Do you want to give some suggestions?
For me, if it was me and we had this conversation and he straight away said, yeah, I'm ready to go, I would just leave my marriage because he's not supportive. Yeah. He's not being supportive. His sex is one little thing. And if it was the other way around, if he had erectile dysfunction, there's no way in the hell he's going to go out.
But he might do, and if he did, would he?
I doubt a man's going to do that.
I'm sure there are women out there who have been in this situation who have gone out there and done it because their husband's given them the pass.
Or because their husband's got an umbrella head.
It's less likely.
And on that note,
we're back to umbrella heads.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't even. Okay,
so on that note, tell us what you think. Get onto social media. Use the hashtag on Twitter, TOTM. Make sure that you get involved with this conversation and all the conversations here on Time of the Month.
Now, the next topic I want to talk about is freeing the nipple. Let me just give you some context. So an association of residents in Colorado City are suing because they feel it's their right to bare their breasts. At the moment, only men can do it. So men can go around wearing topless t-shirts and doing what they want. But women, if they are seen walking around bare-chested, they will be arrested and prosecuted.
Arrested
and prosecuted. Exactly.
Yeah,
so my question is, do you feel this whole gender equality and equality as a whole is just going too far now?
Yes.
Oh. Okay. Tell us how you really feel.
Yes. Yeah. Why do you want to walk? Why, as a woman, especially if you've got bigger breasts, would you want to walk around with them just hanging and banging? You don't want to do that.
Hanging and banging.
Banging.
Why?
Free the nipple. It's a bit much, isn't it?
I think it is a bit much, actually. I wouldn't care if men. Well, men can go around with their tops off. That doesn't mean I want to go around with my top off.
So do you think this whole equality argument sometimes is just going too far?
Yeah, it is. We live in a society where we're all the same human beings, but we have differences. So there's going to be different things that apply to each of us. Yeah. Especially gender-wise. So
I think that's the thing with. I think that's
the same.
I think that's the thing with equality, that people look at equality in a vacuum.
Yeah.
When you have to give equality context.
Yeah.
So I don't really understand why women would be up in arms about that. I'll tell you one thing I would be up in arms about. If bearing breasts meant, for instance, this was a city or a state, I don't know, that wouldn't allow women to breastfeed in public, then I would have a problem, because I think that's slightly different.
Lots of people seem to have a problem with that for some reason. And I would be interested to hear what they had to say about that.
But this is why I don't think they're going to pass it. Because look at the uproar that is caused by women breastfeeding, which is a job in itself. It's a duty. It's there for that reason.
People are still offended for some reason. People still look at women's boobs, and I know why.
As sexual objects.
As sexual objects, unfortunately.
But that's men again.
No, I say unfortunately.
And women.
Do you think?
Well, yeah, they're lesbians.
I don't even think it matters to your sexuality. I think just as a woman, you may, if you perhaps, even if you have had children, you may see your breast and the look of your breast as somewhat sexual.
Well, yeah, well, we do.
You always see girls thirst trapping on like social media, pretending to take a selfie when really they're just
pushing your feet together like that. Yes,
that's it. That's assisting with the sexualization.
But I don't agree. as much as I do agree with equality, I mean, even if they said you can do it, I just feel like it wouldn't be women just walking down the street. It would be open a whole can of worms.
Yeah.
If somebody went to if somebody just brushed up against a woman, that's a sexual harassment suit, or that's an assault suit.
Touched
you see what I
inappropriately.
mean? If you're standing in a queue and a man steps back and brushes against your bare breast, are you going to get sued for that?
That's the thing, because
it's just going to open up a can of worms.
When you think about it, we've still got a problem with what the word consent means.
Yeah.
Let alone be bare-chested, walking out on the street and not actually asking for it. Do you know what I mean?
You're not asking for
or
it.
wanting to be harassed.
Yeah.
That already is an issue right now. We don't even have this law
But
enforced.
who's raising the so-called issue of wanting women to be able to do that in this particular area?
Just a group of women in this area.
Feminists.
I don't know if they call themselves that, but yeah.
I don't really know what that word means, but I think it would be a feminist group because they want equal rights to all men. But sometimes we do not need equal rights to all men.
Well, I think we do, but I just think equality needs to be seen in context. And I think in this context, it cannot, I don't think it is that women want to or should want to walk around bare-chested, given the fact that, you know, our bodies are sexualized. It may lead, as you said, to unwanted sexual attention or any kind of attention. Yeah. Why would you petition for that just to take on board that problem when that whole issue of women's bodies and consent to touching and all that hasn't even properly been addressed?
If you want to do that and walk free, there are plenty of nudist parks and beaches.
Boom.
It's true though, right?
Yeah, you can go topless on the beach.
Yeah.
You can go topless on the beach. Yeah. That's fine.
And again, that's the context to it, isn't it?
Yeah, I fully agree.
Yeah. Okay, so guys, what do you guys think? Get on Twitter, #TOTM. Let us know. Should we be freeing the nipple, or do you think boobs should stay firmly under wraps? Sorry.
That leads on nicely onto the next topic. Do we share too much on social media? Reality TV star Drea recently had a baby boy, and she released her childbirth video on Instagram. And a lot of people were up in arms about it, say that it was too much information. I personally think childbirth is beautiful and I don't see anything wrong with it.
I loved it.
Because the camera wasn't in front of her, it was behind her. You saw her lift the baby out. And you saw the baby being born. It was amazing.
So it was live?
Yeah.
Yes.
I thought, disapproving face.
Okay.
I'm just like, is there not something that can just remain private between you, your husband, whatever, who else was in a room?
So
why does everything always have to be up?
It's not everything, but that's a beautiful
thing. It's most things.
That's a beautiful thing.
Look, I'm all for openness and people doing what they want, but in line with the question, I do think it's just getting too much now.
But childbirth, really?
No, posting too much on social media. I don't need to see everyone's intimate life. What next?
All right, you know what? I agree. Yeah, I agree that I do think people overshare on social media, but in this particular one instance of the childbirth thing,
I don't think the criticism was justified.
No, and the thing is, on Channel 4 they have a program, One Born Every Second.
Yeah.
They show that anyway.
They show that all the time.
So it's
not
out
anything.
there.
I don't think it's anything.
The mystique.
I prefer to see childbirth than to see people beaten up in the street.
Yeah.
Girls twerking, those car trashing people's naked bodies every 5 minutes. I don't want to say the whole name, but yeah, I'm sick of seeing that. I prefer to see people giving birth. That's beautiful.
I don't need to see it. I still,
like I said, the camera wasn't in front. It was behind her.
For me, I just think there's some things that are really, really private and personal.
Yeah.
And I feel like giving birth is an intimate moment between mother, child, and partner. Personally,
but even because that, and I think you're right, that is her intimate moment. But given that it's her intimate moment, isn't the choice then hers and her partner's to decide to share it?
But because she shared it, I can now have an opinion on it, and this is my opinion. I just think it's too much. Do you know? I remember one time I was scrolling through Facebook, and an old school friend, she had a water birth. And everything was the blood. It's too much.
Right, no.
It's too much. So my other question is though, so because she's famous, is that all right? But yeah, I mean, my opinion is consistent.
Yeah.
But I think some people would be like, oh, that's really beautiful because she's this, that, and the other. But your school friend, but why is she putting it on Facebook? There can be double standards.
I would disagree with just the whole blood issue.
Which is why her one was slightly different. Like, it was from behind, so all the gore and the guts screen, and everything, you couldn't see any of that. You saw behind her head, you saw the side of the bed, her legs were covered, and all you saw was the baby come out. It was almost like it was edited, to be honest, which it wasn't.
It was so beautiful.
Seeing all the gore and the blood and stuff, that I would say is too much. Yeah, I would say that's too much.
For me, it's all part of the same thing. And also as well, it's live. I mean, it's a moment. We don't ever know what's going to happen when a baby's... Yeah. So what is complications? Then you guys, everyone's got insight into sit on.
But I think she's made that choice. Once she makes the choice, when she commits to this is being on there, and you know, it had all been the person who was filming it. I don't know if it was her partner, was clearly already there. The doctor had said to her, do you want to pull your baby? And you know, so he must have been aware that this was going to be filmed. So once she's committed to that,
then you're committed.
You're committed.
For me, it could be traumatic. I don't know what's going to happen next.
Yeah,
I don't know if the baby. Remember,
was it live? Was it?
Live.
It was a post. It was just a post.
So it was video. Then she cut the little bit and put it up. Right. So yeah, live.
I think as well, what we have to realise is social media, none of us, as they say in Nigeria, is not by force. It's not by force that we have to watch these things.
It's so right.
I
chose to scroll past it. And I don't want to sound hard or whatever. I think, you know, my point is that childbirth is a beautiful moment.
Yeah.
And again, because I think it's beautiful and personal, I don't think it should be shared.
Yeah.
Like, as you said, the violence and the twerking and all this other stuff. I don't need to see it. It's too much.
I think there is too much oversharing on social media.
Think there's too much
definitely.
And on top of that, regardless of just the video content, I think there's a lot of chat. It's just a lot of talking. As you guys know, I was in Sri Lanka for 10 days. I was totally on digital detox. I only used Wi-Fi in the evening in the reception area. And like literally I confined myself to maximum 30 minutes a day. My headaches went. I just felt like I could breathe. And then when I came back, the influx of stuff, I actually can't take it in. It's literally too much for me.
Yeah.
So you guys are my Facebook friends. You may have noticed I haven't really posted much. But I can't anymore. I literally, no, I haven't. If you check it, I haven't. I literally can't do it anymore.
So I pictures.
That's different. I was making you guys know that I was alive. I was by myself.
Okay.
So even if it's not video, I still think the chat is still a lot. And actually, when you think about it, Facebook does consume a lot of our time.
No, I
if you let it,
you've got a choice.
And that's the thing. It has to be about personal choice, and it has to be, I guess, about self-monitoring. So as always, with all of our subjects, let us know what you think. Get onto Twitter, join in with this conversation, #TOTM. Make sure you follow us on Twitter @TOTM Chat. We're on Facebook, like our page. Follow us on Instagram and of course Snapchat, and get involved with all our conversations. Now, sadly, this is the last in the series for Time of the Month. But we'll be back with you in season 2. In the meantime, use our social media and get at us. Let us know what subjects you want us to talk about, what you've really enjoyed about season 1, and what you want to see in season 2. And make sure you join us right here back for season 2 of Time of the Month.